Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome into your daily read for Friday, August 18th, 2023. I hope you're doing amazing. I really can't speak today, so bear with me. But we're going to begin and pull from the Tattoo Tarot deck for an overall energy, or two, depending on what we get, and then shift on forward to a different deck. So to begin, shuffling out of the way, what do we have for Friday? Okay, we have three coming out. The Temperance card, Justice, as well as the Eight of Pentacles. So first and foremost, there's going to be a true need for patience and potentially more balance depending on how your day proceeds, what you're coping with or having to. But I do feel like all the meanwhile, there's a sense of you knowing something that you need to remember, all right? I'm not even going to build upon that specific message because that's going to look completely different for everybody. But there's a feeling of you overdoing it in one department, all right? I feel as if whatever is affecting you, you could even be pushed to think back to something that affected you previously in a similar sense, but I feel like whatever is affecting you or has been, or both, it's there's a need to remember that you are in the driver's seat, all right? I don't know why that's coming through, but Justice talking about how if we put these two together, your efforts paying off, you gaining justice in that sense. In one of the first attempts to get this reading done, I got the Wheel of Fortune and the Eight of Swords. You could be pushed to think about, or just you're focusing on where you're feeling stuck, limited, trapped, something of this sort, bear with me, in how things are working in your favor in regards to shaking things up, loosening things up a bit, progress, steps in the right direction, all kind of wrapping into some justice that you're gaining. But also I feel as if Spirit's saying you're right on track with something, so don't fret, all right? You may be pushed to, I almost said admire, but appreciate, feel grateful for the progression, the progress up until this point, as far as, say, money that you've saved, growth with a project of business, something of the sort, success within a job. It could be growth, improvement within a connection, but less likely it feels very money and career oriented. But it feels like, I'm hearing for some it has to do with improvement within a household. But there's a feeling of you wanting to put in the work, all right? And I feel as if you don't have the ability or the chance to improve your situation or make progress in one way, there's another way, all right? And you know how that works for you. It reminds me, if I say don't have a shift to cover or to work for my serving job, I can naturally hop on and do a reading or two, right? But of course, again, apply it to your situation. But there's a feeling that you can't help but focus on the worst at this time. Also, in one of the other attempts, I did get the Moon card. If it's not you, somebody you're connected to or surrounded by, even at a distance, is going through it, all right? Or just feeling a bit emotional, you might just find that the emotions of others and or yourself just are relevant throughout the day, okay? There might be something that you or somebody else needs to work through, but let's move on to the Light Seers right here. Wealth and health is what I'm hearing. Wealth and health for Friday to continue. The Three of Cups. There's more than one reason to celebrate, to be proud of yourself. I feel as if you're a hardworking soul being drawn to this reading, but at times do you overdo it? I feel like if that's the case, you overdo it on more than one level in different ways. But you're only human, so don't look at it as a complete negative, but just room for improvement, all right? It's a day for you to notice the justice and acknowledge it, celebrate it, and just move on forward, all right? There's a sense of you, again, going back to the Eight of Swords vibe, wanting to have movement, wanting to shift on forward towards more, but it's not the time yet, as we were speaking upon it. A sense of you potentially doing too much reflecting, too much judgment is also potential, but I feel as if Spirit is pushing you to guide yourself towards a better perspective. towards less thinking. Look at this. Patience in regards to whatever you would consider as a wish fulfillment, more for yourself, what would make you happy. I just feel as if for a select handful drawn to the reading, this is an improvement or progression or growth, expansion for something you already have. But for a lot drawn to the reading like myself, it's something completely new that may all the meanwhile connect to and or remind you of the past. When something keeps popping up on social media in your mind, your awareness, your dreams, it's not coincidental, all right? I don't believe in coincidences. It's spirit pushing you to remember what you desire, to remember what you're made of, okay? Excuse me as I can't speak once again. Or pushing you to realize what you should have, okay? There's a sense of you just being very guided, being drawn to this reading. What else do we have? Two of Cups, as well as the World. I also feel like you're thinking about how you connect with people at this point along your path. There's a sense of you, as I'm seeing the Four of Cups, being pushed to recognize when you don't, or remember when you don't easily connect with somebody, that's purposeful. When you realize that you once would have connected with this type of person more efficiently or in general, but you don't, at least to an extent at this point, it's because you're changing. It's because you're more aligned with a different type of energy. And that's not a bad thing. I feel like maturity is coming into play. All right. It reminds me of sometimes when I don't easily bond with certain people, it's because I've advanced, I'm older, or I've just matured quicker than them. No offense to whoever Spirit's pushing me to speak upon, but it feels like your world's changing. And this is very evident when you think about connecting with people, or you just simply do. I'm also getting with this, there's a connection to your work. And this is showing you truly that your world is changing, that this position, your career is changing, right? Could be that business for you. Very interestingly, random reading. Where you feel stuck, you will no longer moving forward at a certain point when it's destinedly meant to come to be, or just to give you that freedom. But the Chariot, the Four of Swords, and the Ace of Swords, it's a day where you can't help but be all up in your head at certain points. And so now that you recognize that, or you're forewarned of that, when you find your mind racing or just kind of being all over the place, put your foot on the brake, okay? They're saying have a bit of self-control. Don't take that the wrong way. But your motivation in regards to wanting to move forward, once again, do more or gain more, that's going to be very much a part of this day, a reminder that you're protected in the midst of all of which. But if you have time to rest throughout this day, please do. But these two together, talking about even if you're motivated, I guarantee you are to an extent. Make sure you're resting your mind. As I'm truly dehydrated, the Five of Swords talking about how this day, there's a reminder that there are so many stresses in your life already outside of you that you have to cope with, deal with, or just avoid. So don't be a source of stress for yourself, okay? When it comes to your habits, when it comes to knowing yourself best. But to wrap this up, the Queen of Pentacles, the Five of Wands, and the Lovers, because I feel like there's a choice that you want to make moving forward but can't yet. And this is going to leave you with certain ups and downs and lefts and rights and difficulties, but positives all the meanwhile. There's a sense of you being grounded throughout this day for the most part, and being reminded that you're loved and protected and guided in a multitude of ways from different sources. Very interesting wording. Allow for this day to teach you this and that, but to remind you of much more. Very interesting reading. So I hope this was truly helpful. Go enjoy your day, and I'll definitely see you next time.